You are here because you are either experiencing anger, disheartenment, or frustration. Welcome to the Secure Red Light Protocols. Anger is a really tight feeling in the body. Frustration is a sense of wanting to just throw in the towel, pushing and pushing, spinning your wheels, and never seeming to get anywhere. Both of these emotions can also be brought on from external people when somebody negatively criticizes us or displays anger towards us, like a shouting boss, for example. This can bring on the sensation, the emotional state of anger and frustration as well. Now, to give you a context of the protocols in here, I want to start off with a story, and this is one in my personal timeline with my father. So back in 2000, and I'd say maybe 15 or 16, possibly even 2017, a few years ago, my father came to visit me here in New Zealand from Canada, and he had too much to drink that night. And we were meant to go pick up my sister at the airport. And on the way to the airport, we got a flat tire. And it was the middle of the night. We were on the side of the motorway, and my dad was a little bit drunk. And I made a comment around how we should stop someone for help. And in the moment, he just said something really, really disrespectful to me that you should never say to another human, especially not your daughter. And I was livid. I was so angry. He ended up flying back home through his own accord the next day back to Canada on Christmas Eve. And for the following 3 years, I did not speak to my father. I did not call him. I did not speak to him at all. And I was so angry. And in my mind, I was thinking, you should never speak to your daughter like that, let alone another human being. You need to apologize to me. And I refused to break the ice. I refused to be the one to extend an olive branch, because I truly believe that I was owed an apology for what he had said to me, and that without him bridging that gap, our relationship was as good as dust. But what really happened in those 3 years was that the disconnection, that broken relationship, especially with a family member, a father, right? It actually started to really take up some of my own energy. I could feel it inside of me. It was this disconnect, something that wasn't right in my life. And even though I wanted him to apologize to me, I realized after 3 years, there was no way I was going to get an apology from this man. In his mind, he didn't think he had done anything wrong. And if I was waiting for an apology from him, I was going to be waiting a very, very long time. But what I realized at that time was that the anger was actually impacting me. The resentment was actually affecting me. It was feeding off my energy. It was taking my own energy away. And anything that does that is never good for you. It's always destructive for you, regardless of how that vengeance or anger or frustration came about. All it does is hurt you. And in fact, it hurts other people too, because as we're learning, emotional states are contagious. Angry people make other people angry. Overwhelmed people make other people overwhelmed. So it's actually not just about you. It hurts way more than just you. But certainly you're the one who it costs that energy. So I had to find a way to forgive my father, which was not an easy task to do because of things that happened in my childhood as well. And it was just a whole mess of experience and background history, and it led up to this point, which made it very difficult for me to forgive this man. But I realized if I didn't figure out a way to let this go, that it was just going to eat at me all my life and just start to fester like a mold or a rot inside of me. So what I did was I had to, first of all, acknowledge I was never going to get an apology from him. So let that go, release that. And the second thing I did was I placed myself in his timeline from a young child. I went through his entire upbringing of what I knew about his life. And here's what I knew about my father. My father lost his left hand when he was 18 years old from a car. and he was a quarterback. He was a very athletic guy when that happened. And so that really knocked out his entire sporting career. When he was in his 30s, his sister committed suicide. My grandfather was also an alcoholic most of his life. As I placed myself through my father's timeline and imagined his perspective growing up and going through the experiences that he had gone through, it became a lot easier for me to find a place of compassion for this man. My father is also a genius, but he's slightly on the spectrum. And so he doesn't see things socially the same things as other people. So it was almost unfair of me to even expect him to react in a different way socially. And as I did this, I could feel the anger, the tension just sort of release. I came to a space of empathy, of realizing in this person's perspective that, hey, if I had had that upbringing, if I had gone through my sister killing herself, losing my hand, an alcoholic father, being on the spectrum, I probably would have said the same thing to my daughter. What else was I going to say? And it made sense. It made sense why he did those things and why he struggles to apologize. And when I was able to do that, it was almost like, whew, just a space of empathy for this person. And I was able to reach out and rekindle that relationship. Now, initially, I wasn't trying to be best friends, and this isn't about being best friends with an abuser or someone that has traumatized you at all. And it's not about condoning the behavior of what someone else has done to you, ever, ever, ever. But it's about understanding and having that level of consciousness to realize that when you're angry, when you're bitter, when you're resentful, really you're the only one that's hurting, because as we know now, when we practice these emotional states, life is just going to continue to mirror them back. So it's like you're just inviting more of that stuff down your future timeline. So for your own sake, not because we're condoning people's behaviors or we're trying to become best friends with them, but for your own sake, we want to find a space where we can find empathy. And perspective surfing in that way is one of the protocols in here, and it's very powerful. Another really powerful protocol that is so counterintuitive, but this one will cut it off at the knees so quickly. So if you can get yourself to a space where you can integrate this protocol, you are going to benefit immensely, my friend. And that is the understanding that every single one of us on this planet, all we're trying to do is feel well. We just want to feel well. And what are the things that a human needs to feel well? Well, we need love, we need peace of mind, we need our health, we need confidence. Those are the things that we need to feel fulfilled. And when somebody is attacking you or angry at you or screaming at you or tormenting you, what that's really saying is that they are missing a part of that. They are not secure. They don't have peace of mind, right? Because that red light is just their own mirror telling them like, hey, wake up, wake up. It doesn't make sense for us to then react in the same emotional state and fight it and then cause this whole incestuous loop we find ourselves stuck in. So this protocol is really powerful, but it involves a really high level of consciousness, and you might have to work yourself through that. But imagine this person that's angry at you or criticizing you or yelling at you or triggering you. Instead of feeling resent towards them, imagine instead, visualize in your mind this person receiving love, this person feeling well, this person feeling secure, this person feeling confident. Visualize that, send it their way, see them happy, see them feeling love, see them enjoy. You may have to do this over several days. It might not be enough to just do it once, but if you can maintain this and continue to integrate this protocol, you're going to find, as if by magic, that person's behavior is going to suddenly change towards you, and they won't even be able to explain why. They won't even know why they're feeling so comfortable around you. It is magic, I'm telling you. And this one is more of bordering along a level 3 protocol, but it's extremely powerful. So, by the way, this applies to you as well when we're feeling disheartened and frustrated because of our own lack of progress, when we're beating ourselves up, when we're shaming ourselves over failures that we've gone through. That's an invitation to integrate those protocols for ourselves, right? So it's anybody that triggers that anger as well as ourselves, our own thoughts, our own experiences. So when we find ourselves in the red light secure protocols, what we're really telling ourselves is that we have made our sense of peace of mind, our sense of secure, calm, empathy, conditional on outside circumstances. And it's an invitation for us to get back into that space. As with any protocol, there's no requirement to do these in any specific order. You can pick and choose the ones that feel aligned to you and leave the ones that don't feel right for you. If any of the protocols really trigger you, step away from them. That's not the purpose at all. That's always defeating the purpose. If a protocol triggers you, step away and come back to it when you're feeling more refreshed. The purpose of the secure red light protocols is to get us into secure green light state. If you are unable to get yourself into a green light from the protocols, that's okay. Remember, all we're aiming for with these protocols is not 180. All we're doing is applying the remedy emotional state for an incremental improvement. So even if you just go to boredom, perfect. Even if you just go to ambivalence or indifference, perfect. That is better than anger and frustration. So integrate these secure red light protocols in to get yourself in a slightly better state, back into a green light state, ideally. And a lot of these protocols are about getting back into a sense of it's going to be okay. You're totally fine. Zooming out from the how, trusting that everything will work out for ourselves. Peace of mind. What a delicious, beautiful thing to give to yourself.